thoroughly enjoyed the program. So a couple of pieces that made it really meaningful and impactful was, I've been fortunate enough to have a sense of environmental empathy instilled in me, but kind of starting to make that shift from empathy to action by being more intentional about it in my lessons. And very quickly, I've realized that kids have an appetite. I mean, they want to learn more about the big issues that we talk about. Not all kids, but there are enough kids who are more deeply interested in learning about the issues, and they want a role in finding answers and being a part of the solution. So the smell program really gave that opportunity. So got all the resources, so well designed, so well structured, working with like-minded educators from around the county, being able to work in teams, um, and being able to have access to a coach who is always there to answer your questions, having a great, again, I think I'm repeating myself, but great resources, like everything is set up for you. And on top of that, getting paid for this meaningful work was so awesome. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. And more than, me enjoying it, I think it was students who really loved that aspect of, you are the solutionary. So once we build the knowledge about whatever it is, so in this case, ecosystems and biodiversity, what are some things that you see as issues? And then more importantly, what do we do about it? So anything we can do to keep our planet in balance. And kids were amazing. So there were, so many different projects that kids came up with that kind of, this is how we redefine our relationship with our planet. And uh, I was totally blown away with the engagement that kids showed, especially during, I'm not there with them. I'm not actually physically there, taking them from one step to another. But they did an amazing job. So I thoroughly enjoyed. Were deeply engaged in issues about the environment and constantly striving to do more. So there were a couple of kids who picked specific areas in their neighborhood. So we did a lot of citizen science. So kids used iNaturalist app to identify native and invasive species. And there were some kids who actually went out, identified specific areas in their neighborhood where they found either too many invasive species, or they thought, oh, this is a barren place, doesn't have anything, tested the soil and figured out, oh, looks like this place has a lot of potential. And then they did a blueprint, they did 3D models, they researched what native plants would suit in this area, and created, designed models for those. And they're now looking at, oh, who do we contact? How do we actually go out and do the planting? And they are asking about spots in our school where there are areas where they feel like, oh, can we grow more native species here? So it has been an amazing learning experience. Kids have done butterfly gardens and learning spaces in their backyards, actually doing the work. And as the project unfolded, it was this whole idea of, okay, so we are talking about it and we are creating a plan for it, but can we actually do it? Oh, are we actually doing it? So again, it was just, the energy in the classroom was so amazing. And I've had a few kids who did not have, say, for example, time to plant during when we were doing this project. And they were like, can we still continue to do it in spring? So they were like, can I use my spring break and can I still continue to work on it? There is no excuse for inaction. And whatever little we do has an impact. So when we talk about these big issues, we always talk about collective action. So like you are part of that, you have to be a part of that collective action. And I think most kids embraced it and were really proud of the work that they have done. So a lot of celebrations in the class happened virtually as they presented their work, really meaningful. Yeah, it's called the Grosvenor's Teacher Fellowship. So I have been, associated with National Geographic. I took their certification course, which kind of, it's just amazing, and it aligned so well with the way I want to teach science in my class. Thinking about different perspectives, thinking about different scales. So I took that course, and then I found out about this opportunity. And this is a partnership between National Geographic and Lindblad Expeditions. And the fellows, they go to, for a unique uh, professional development experience, which I feel is just amazing. Being in the wild with scientists, with naturalists, collecting data, learning how to photograph, and then the big idea being bringing all of that into the classroom. And I feel like, the personal stories mean so much to all of us. So anytime, if I ask my kids, do you guys want to hear a story? And they're like all up, and they're all, everyone connects so well to personal stories. So I think, this will be such an amazing opportunity, where I engage all my five senses in this professional development. We all know the power of the yellow rectangle. So the foundation of science and geography, and then power in storytelling. So bringing those into my classroom and engaging kids more into this, sense of urgency. Um, One of the challenges, that I always feel that comes with the desire to teach students about interconnectedness of the world and cultivating empathy is, how do you care about something that you have not experienced, that you have not seen? So I feel like, having the experience going out into the wild, getting my own pictures. So, I mean, there are so many amazing pictures, but these are my pictures. And when I show it to my students, it's going to have a much deeper impact on them. And, the hope is bringing more relevancy into my teaching. And another piece, that I was really attracted to when I applied for this program was, I want my students to see me as a risk taker and a lifelong learner. Those are two essential qualities that I hope to instill in my students. And going out on an expedition on waters is totally out of my comfort zone. I'm not a water person. So, when I was filling out that and filling out the questionnaire of comfort level with, in different activities, I'm like, oh my gosh, do I really want to do it? But then it was this piece of, I'm constantly always telling kids, you should be a risk taker, and we all learn from our mistakes, and we, growth mindset and whatnot. So I got to do it. So it took me a lot of courage to just to kind of think about, can I do it? So I'm hoping that this will also be an amazing storytelling from me, how I did it, how I conquered my fears, what did I learn from it. So I'm really, really excited about this opportunity. One thing that I would say is, we know that sometimes the messenger matters more than the message itself. And we know that students, when they use their voice, it is more likely to be heard. So as educators, our only role is to ignite that passion, present the information to students in a way that is, that they can connect with, and then ask them to come up with ideas on how to solve it. So, and I think, that's something that I've found so meaningful. And so helpful in the way I approach things with students. Present it as a problem, present it as something, you know and we can't run away from it. It is a reality, and we need your support in figuring this out. So empowering them and celebrating every small action that students take, I mean, that needs to be celebrated. So believing in the power of action, no matter how small it is. And starting really small. I mean, I think I started with starting a recycling program on our campus. It was like, can we just start off with finding out which classroom has a recycle bin and which doesn't? Just that first step. And the kids were so excited to do that. Like these kind of tasks, kids are so on, you're, running with a clipboard doing that. Okay, so then what should be our next step? And I feel like for the most part, if we are asking the right questions and prompting the kids come up with wonderful solutions. And it's like, okay, we don't have any time to meet. There is no designated time. When should we meet, guys? Oh, can we meet at lunch? Like, okay, so when are we going to eat our lunch? So they come up with solutions. And I think, having them on board as partners, and not as, I'm above you and I'm your teacher, I will tell you what to do, is the key to get them to do work and invest in it with heart and mind.